Hello everyone, good afternoon here. Yeah, I just thought to really just share my thoughts on my personal journey, something that it's really a lot of you can be also related to this. This is what I've been talking about for a while, which is chronic pelvic pain or pelvic floor dysfunction. They're the two terms that I normally like to use. There's a lot of actually other names as well. Yeah, and also it's not just the pain of the pelvic actually, or the different types of pain. There's of course other issues that come with there's sexual issues, there's urinary issues, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, the more actually I sort of like think about my problem, the more I actually getting more revelations. Really, every time I really engage myself and think about the solution. So, and it looks like really the solution is almost there for me, and hopefully a lot of you as well. So what has been happening the last month, like around a month ago, like early the first week of May, I came across this guy who was talking about fascia and how fascia actually can cause a lot of issues. And the more I actually watch that fascia stuff, the more I really think that pelvic floor dysfunction and other issues that can normally come with has a lot to do with fascia, in my opinion. There's a lot of points that really points towards that direction. And what was amazing was like and how and how actually the feet can actually cause all these problems, which I kind of like really strongly believe by now as of this week. Last night, like around like 7:55 p.m. Melbourne time, I was in the shower. And normally in the shower, when you're in the shower, normally those moments are the moments that you can actually come across some ideas can come into your brain, especially if you are thinking and so obsessed about something. In my situation, like pelvic pain and other issues. Yeah, around 7:55 p.m. Melbourne time, this almost revelation actually came to me, like kind of like really, I wouldn't say voice, but really strong sort of revelation, telling me basically where everything has actually started, which is something that I've been thinking of since the last month because of these fascial videos I was consuming. And actually there was really amazing thought of an example that really says it all. So for example, if you have a car that have flat tires, right, all the wheels are flat, it can move, but it can move with problems, right? It's not bouncy, it's not fast, and then the more you drive on flat tires, the more actually things get worse for you. That actually was the example I was given through like a kind of like a revelation, to be honest, last night in the shower. And immediately my attention went to my feet. So our feet, if they don't have like a very strong tension, that's fascial tension, because there is muscles, there are muscles, but there's also plantar fascia, which is something that is talked about, but it's normally talked about in terms of the problematic side of it, plantar fasciitis, for example. But this guy I was watching last month, he's talking about really releasing that area and also strengthening, and the strengthening of the fascia that comes from there will be really the solution of a lot of dysfunction that is happening above. What I mean? And that's really what it looks like to me. On my feet, definitely, there's no strength. So I think 2 weeks ago, I was trying to run, check if I'm still fast, and I wasn't actually fast. When I'm actually running sideways, I'm actually faster, but when I'm running normally, like straight ahead, I'm actually slow. And that's basically this example of, I think, not think really, I really believe um, I'm like a car that has like a deflated like a basically wheels that needs to be fixed really, and it looks like I'm kind of like headed towards really talking to this guy and see if this revelation is and what I'm thinking of is really what I was looking for and what the community have been looking for a long time. Because imagine, like, to think about it, our feet are the foundation of the body, right? If there's a very strong feet, right, everything else above will start properly. It's the foundation. So if that area really has issues, which in pelvic pain community, especially the athletes, as well as those, I mean, almost everybody really, because of the shoes, because of the sedentary, our feet actually lost their strength, and then we ended up having things like blunt fasciitis and those problems, and then ankle issues and then hip issues. Anyway, that was very interesting thought that came to my mind yesterday, in that example of that my feet actually is like flat tires basically. Time will tell. I'm actually optimistic. I'm kind of like shifting from functional training I was doing with this online BT, someone who's really has been really helpful for the last 8 months now. I think yeah, it was October last year. He came to my life really very critical point. I've reached almost a point of no return really. I run into more postural problems. So there's the neck issues. My voice is not actually great as well because there's that front line of fascia that comes from the feet. It comes all the way to the throat. So you have this neck tension and all this area is just crazy. And I was having these problems and I was doing a lot of hip flexor strengthening and a back strengthening. That actually put me into hospital really because it was crazy time. It was crazy time, and that personal trainer just came to my life, and I'm really grateful. He came up with really a very successful formula that was working for me. But that formula sometimes, not sometimes, but it actually felt at the end, especially last month, like that we kind of like feeling like a bottle or a vessel, like a container that has a hole. Imagine just putting water, something that, and there's a hole there. So there was leakage. At the beginning, the leakage, we said maybe it's my lifestyle because I'm sitting a lot, I'm driving a lot. Maybe the sitting jobs can be that missing link. But it looks like after I consulted with him and he was really open-minded about the case, I actually suggested that I might have like a feet issues, like my feet actually is just is the source of the leakage. So we doing all this functional core strengthening, glute strengthening, we're releasing the hip flexors, we're releasing the lats, the back, everything else. I'm responding well, but as soon as I go back to my work, I'm sort of tightening up again. And then there's the more I sit, the more tension actually builds up. The hip flexors, the lower back. There was a crazy back pain really, one of the craziest back pains ever. Neck issues, all this chest area just tightens up, and then some really fatigue. Basically, I can easily have. It's nighttime now. I can have coffee and sleep now, right now. And fatigue syndrome is one of the symptoms of pelvic pain, of course. And then as the day goes, my tension just builds up, and there's vision issues, tightness around these areas. The eyes feel like fatigued, and you feel like you want to sleep. And when you come home and you lay down, you're all right. So a lot of crazy symptoms, a lot of cognitive problems, memory issues. Yeah, because the blood flow to the brain has been compromised for a long time. So, but the good news is I'm really calm and collected because I know a formula now that is helping me, at least keeping me basically not to get worse. And who knows, when I start working with this fascia guy, things may change, and this leakage can be sealed through that fascia lines, because what he's suggesting is basically, what he's saying basically is fascia health first. If you have fascia problems, you fix it by releasing it. And thanks to Nick, really, I've got a lot of, actually, in DCT there's a lot of fascia talk, and which I'm actually grateful, which is really something that's making me believe this guy as well, because I'm tying to what DCT and Nick was talking about. Because in DCT we have like fascia exercises and fascia stretches, but in DCT we don't have fascia strengthening. So this looks like this guy is talking about fascia strengthening. So when I combine, who knows, something may come up from there. Yeah, just something really exciting news. And what I've actually also the last few weeks, yes, the last probably 2 weeks, I'm now sort of like intentionally using the ball of my feet. So instead of just not paying attention to how I walk, now I'm actually more intentional. So I'm putting the ball of the feet, and just doing that, I'm actually feeling sort of like releasing sensation. So I have kyphosis, so you can't tell because I'm wearing a jacket. It's we're winter, official winter. Today is, I think, the first week of winter, I believe, in Melbourne. Yeah, so I have kyphosis. Maybe I'll share in the future some photos of that. So I feel like my kyphosis, the thoracic spine, is sort of like going this way now, like becoming lordotic, which is good. Lordotic is bad when it's lower back, and the kyphosis is good when it's lower back. It's kind of like other way around. Yeah, I feel more chest up, and my breathing also feels good, and also the lower back pain decreases just walking using the ball of the feet. Now, before I was doing this, really like a lot of pronation, which I think that's why my front line of fascia tightened up from first place, and then through sports the back line of fascia, spiral lines, all just fucked it up basically. So yeah, there's a really good positive feedback just by walking intentionally, putting on the feet. And even when I'm standing, normally before I used to feel a lot of low back pain when I stand. For example, if I'm talking to my friends, for like 10 minutes, back pain, boom, neck issues. So I think I was standing in in pronation basically. I'm struggling with those technical words, and this is basically the tension really. I remember, before muscular and fascial tension, back 20 years ago almost, now when I was 16 or something, yeah, I was fine. So I can easily tell this is something to do with this tension on the neck. It changes the voice, even the way you pronounce the words, they're not good. Hopefully that will go away. I really believe that. Yeah, just standing with my friends, for example, 10 minutes, lower back pain, especially the glute medius, just they can't hold my hips. But now when I'm actually on the ball of the feet intentionally and heels a little bit elevated, I'm fine. Actually, I can, walk a long time, like almost an hour, stand really long. So that shows that what this fascia guy is talking about is really maybe the missing link for the pelvic community. The pelvic floor dysfunction can be really thing in the past. If I combine my DCT protocols with the strengthening side, time will tell. So I think, guys, if anybody's watching this, please consider the fascia, not just stretching the fascia, but also fascia health in general, as well as strengthening it, and then talk about the muscles. So that's the sequence I'm thinking of, and time will tell. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and all the best.